back with another Masterverse figure, and this time we're looking at Mer-Man, and I can only apologise in advance for the fish pun that I no doubt used on the thumbnail and the title. It's cheap, I'm sorry, but let's take a look at the figure anyway. Hi all, Chris here, and today we're taking a look at another of the Master of the Universe Masterverse figures. So this is a Mer-Man from the Master of the Universe Revelation series, and when we take a look at the figure, we'll see that this is pretty much from the second half of that show. Everything kicks off and we get some very different looks for these figures. But Mer-Man, definitely one of my favourite henchmen ever since I was a kid. And I'm not the biggest Masters of the Universe fan, so I guess my favourites were kind of dictated by the figures that my mum and dad had got me when I was young. You know, whatever I had to play with were kind of my favourites. So definitely Mer-Man and Tri-clops were the ones that I played with the most. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Let's take a look at the box first. And I do like the boxes in general for the Masterverse collection, specifically these tighter boxes that we get. There are some boxes that are huge, but this box, yeah, nice and condensed. And I really love the colour scheme on these Masterverse figures, the black and the blue, and the artwork on them as well. Awesome artwork. Love the look of that art on the side. Nothing else on the other. It just says Mer-Man there, but on the back, that's where it sings. I mean, this artwork here just looks fantastic. You got the tentacles wrapping around and the sword gleaming, and you can see the other figures in the range at the bottom there as well. So very pleased with how the box looks, but also true to form really with the Masterverse collection. But anyway, let's get the figure out, let's check articulation, see what accessories it comes with, and get started. So, I think what we're going to do first is start with the figure. And I really like it at first glance. I love the colour scheme, sort of a teal and orange look to him. And you can see he's quite battle-scarred, ravaged. You know, there are scar marks all over him that are just painted on with like a lighter blue. And you can see here that one of his eyes is missing as well, and another scar painted over that. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I like the attention to detail on it and the musculature that's built onto all of these Masterverse figures. I think that they're really impressive. I feel that a lot of the feet and the, look fairly similar on all of these figures. You know, a lot of them are just sort of 3 or 4 toed open feet on a lot of these figures. But I love the detail work on the top of this. The gills, on his shoulders, I think look fantastic, and the head sculpt is slightly different to what we're used to with a Mer-Man figure, but I really like the way that it's set out. It's almost like a hexagon shape or an octagon shape to his head, with the the gills creating that shape on it. So I think it looks excellent and a good depiction of what we saw in the show, to be fair. It's a good translation to figure form, so I have no issues with that, and I love the colour scheme. But let's get into articulation anyway. Really good head movement. I mean, it's a full 360-degree head movement on there, so absolutely no problems at all. Excellent T-pose on there, and it does twist as well at the top of the bicep. It's got a double joint in the elbow, which is nice, and there is good twist and bend in the wrist. So standard Masterverse articulation there, but it works pretty nicely on that. And let's have a look at the ab crunch there. Very good ab crunch. Actually, I forgot to look at the up and down on the head, so let's do that as well. Reasonably good up and down on the head. I think there's excellent twist in the waist, so that's nice. A little bit of twist in the upper torso as well, but you can feel a little bit of resistance there. Tops of the legs work pretty nicely considering the plastic material that might be blocking it. Decent double joint. There is twist at the top and the bottom of the leg, and there is good movement in the ankles, up and down, and a pivot motion, so that's good. But nothing really unexpected there. We see similar articulation with a lot of these Masterverse figures, so nothing has come out of the blue. But it's nice to see that it moves freely, and I just think it's a nice tidy figure. Now we're moving on to the accessories. He comes with quite a nice looking sword, really, and not the type of sword that we normally see with a Mer-Man, but I'm really impressed with this. It's got a great shape to it, and I love the black hilt to it as well. It's almost got a pearlescent metallic look to it. Not great paintwork on it, as you can see. There's a little bit of bleed from the orange, and I will say that's one of the main negatives with this figure. is sometimes it doesn't pick up on screen, but there are a lot of bleeding from the oranges into the teals throughout this. And you can see on the top here of this trident that comes with him as well. The silver looks great, and it's probably the colour that it's moulded in, but a lot of the orange running into the teal and vice versa. In fact, on that twist there, it looks really sloppy. So I'm not particularly happy about that. That's a bit of a shame, really. But we'll pop that trident down. Now, he comes with 2 sets of interchangeable hands, which is nice. He does have a set of open hands, and that's really good if you want to get him into perhaps a swimming pose, combined with the decent upward movement on the ab crunch and the good head movement. You can probably get him into a couple of decent poses there. And he also comes with 2 closed fist punching hands as well. So opportunities to get him into a lot of interesting poses. I have no issues with those. They're clearly just in the moulded teal, so there's no paint problems on the hands, which is nice to see. But in general, he's okay. Like I say, I think he looks great from a distance. There are some real paint issues when you get him up close. But anyway, let's put him into a couple of poses and just talk about him. I'm just going to take a few seconds to say, if you're enjoying the video, please pop a like on it. And why not consider subscribing to the channel as well? Help me to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. I'd be hugely indebted to you. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So in general, I like him. I think that he's not the most exciting figure, and I think that bears out in with like the accessories that come with him as well. He's shirtless, which is not something we're generally used to with Mer-Man. I'm used to some armor at the very least on the top half of him, so that makes him a little bit more underwhelming in comparison to some of the other Masterverse figures that we get. I mean, there's some that we get 2 or 3 changes of armor as well. But he looks good, you know, he's well sculpted, and as I said before, he's a good translation of the character into figure form. And I think the colour of the teal against the orange is really striking. I just think it's a shame that a lot of the orange that you're seeing, there are elements of bleed moving from the orange into the teal, which is disappointing. I've also noticed a few little bits of chipping away of the orange that I can't really pick up too well on camera here, but especially on, you know, on his waist. I think that's where it's most noticeable. But I do like the figure, and as I said before, I think some of the sculpted detail on the top half, especially the gills around his neck, when you get a good close-up of it, it is really effective and well sculpted detail, and that kind of moves down into the backs of the shoulder blades as well. There is a lot of nice sculpted detail on this figure, and I think you'll see a lot with the Masterverse figures that the arms and the legs perhaps are a little bit interchangeable between the characters. Maybe there are some that share molds. So it's nice to see, at least with the torso, that there's some individuality to it. The scarring looks okay. Again, it's just painted detail. There's no sculpting to it. So there is a little bit of a worry, I guess, that scarring could chip away. I mean, I'm not going to try, because I'd like to try and keep this figure in reasonably good condition. But it is something that I'd be concerned about with this figure. I'm just so surprised that the orange is not holding up particularly well. I have seen other reviews that have said that the pearlescent black paint on the sword is peeling away. I've seen others that have said that the orange on the mask is peeling away. So this is clearly not an issue just with my figure. This is an issue with the paint job on the figure in general, and that's down to Mattel, really. They should have tried and tested this a little bit more. But regardless, you know, I think that the figure is all right. I just think it's a bit underwhelming, and I'm glad I didn't pay a great deal for it. Again, as I've said, if you've seen any of my other Masterverse reviews, I've decided to sort of invest in this collection because I'd seen that they were so cheap at the minute. So in your area, take a look. It might be that you can pick up some of these Masterverse figures for a decent amount. And even if you're not a huge fan of the franchise, there's obviously the opportunity for kit bashing some of these figures. Some of them have such incredible weaponry on them that will be useful in a lot of the sword and sandal figure ranges. Not a lot else to say about it. He's okay. He's just, you know, he's a bit meh. But, you know, already I've done 4 of these Masterverse figures, and there are some real highs and lows with them. And, you know, there are 2 more that I've got left to do, and one I'm particularly excited about. So I've got Tri-clops and I've got Skelegod that are coming up. So I will be putting those reviews out in the next few weeks. But let me know what you think of this figure in the comments. You know, is this one that you like? I mean, Is this figure that you've got? Are you disappointed with it? Let me know in the comments and tell me what you think. Please also drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. And also please consider subscribing to my channel for more action figure reviews and news. We are so close to my first 1,000 subscribers. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe. Around 90% of the people that watch my videos still aren't subscribed. So all it takes is to push one button. It'd be hugely helpful to me. And our community would love to have you. But regardless, if Masters of the Universe figures interest you, why not check out this review next? Thanks ever so much for joining me today. I hope you all take care. Bye bye now.